Good afternoon, Clemson fans. Welcome into Death Valley Live. Mark Childress here with Daja Davidson. It's Senior Day. It's Military Appreciation Day. It feels like 6 months since Clemson's played a football game, and we're finally going to play one today. Daja, welcome in. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, we've been talking about this earlier on the radio shows. We were on the Tiger Tailgate show about it's been 21 days since this Tiger football team has played, 28 since Trevor Lawrence has played. So, you know, if nothing else, it's just exciting to have incredible, beautiful football weather. You see Trevor here getting ready for today's game. 28 days, but I'm not worried at all about him being able to get back into the swing of things, finding that chemistry with this offense and getting things rolling, hopefully early. Yeah,
the 21-day layoff is Clemson's longest between regular season games since 1918. So it's just been a little while. So it's a very unusual situation to go with a very unusual season. Hey, I want to mention this early in the show. Go out on Twitter right now and tweet at us, hashtag Death Valley Live. There is a Nike football that is signed, that is a giveaway. Been giving away these all season. Been fantastic stuff. So again, go on Twitter, use the hashtag Death Valley Live to win a signed Nike football, and we'll announce at halftime who the winner of that game is. Death Valley Live, as always, presented by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo understands being a Tiger fan means there's no off season. With the Wells Fargo Tigers debit card, you can show off your Clemson pride 24/7. Visit wellsfargo.com to learn more. And are we going to take a look now at the Tigers arriving in Death Valley? Have we got that queued up? Because they're going to be here. So let's take a look at that right now. Always good to see Clemson coming off the bus. And there's going to be a lot of pent-up energy, Daja, right now with the Tigers, because it's been so long since they played football, so I think there'll be even more energy and enthusiasm today.
Absolutely, and traditionally we would be playing South Carolina for the state championship today, but you know, I think that it's been so long since this team has played, they don't care really who it is. They're just ready to get back on the field and push some folks around who, like Kendall mentioned earlier on the Tiger Tailgate show, that are not their own teammates. They're ready to face another opponent that's not their teammates, and they're finally going to get that today against the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, Tigers getting ready to come in here. Military Appreciation Day. You saw Daja has got her purple jacket behind her.
I do. I had to take mine off. The sun is on me now, so I got a little toasty, so I did have to take my purple jacket off, but I do have that today for Military Appreciation.
You've got your purple. I've got my purple golf shirts, and it's going to be a day of layers, I think, because it's kind of warm right now. You could almost wear shorts and a golf shirt, but by the time the sun goes down a little bit later, it's going to be much cooler by conclusion of the ball game tonight.
You know, it's going to be an exciting one. We've just haven't seen a lot of these players who we are potentially expecting to play today. They're not on the list of unavailable players, so we're, you know, can't say for sure if we'll see folks like Jamie Skalski back today. But, you know, it's really exciting to have the potential to potentially see these guys back on the football field, especially those who we've missed, especially on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, and the unavailability list came out a little bit earlier, so a couple of names that are on it that we weren't expecting. Sheridan Jones and Landon Zanders will not be available to play, so that's a couple of men down in the secondary for the Tigers. But these players are available to play today. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll see them on the field, but they are available, and that's Tyler Davis, we haven't seen in a while. Mike Jones Jr. is back. Jamie Skalski is not on the unavailable list, so he could potentially see the field today. Matt Bockhorst and Brian Brissy also got banged up, if you remember, against Notre Dame. They should be okay today as well. So hopefully the injury bug is done with the Tigers. We've just got a couple of guys missing in the secondary. So Daja, do you remember playing paper football as a kid? Because All-State is bringing it back with a Good Hands Challenge. Just like the Good Hands field goal net, All-State will be making a donation to the General Scholarship Fund for every video shared. So I think do you have a football over there?
I do.
All right, you and I are going to attempt to not embarrass ourselves.
Okay.
And we're both going to do the paper football challenge here so we can use on video. So I've got the uprights up for you.
It's been a long time since I've done this.
Let's see if we got it.
This is a really
Okay, not your best.
That was basically like the Vandy kicker just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
That was poor. I'm going to blame it on the bad angle that I have
Yes, you had
here,
to turn your body. Okay, so I'm going to nail this one.
Really
How about
bad.
this? I'm going to return this for All-State here. I'm going to return it. Oh, just a little bit wide.
Just a little bit. We're going to blame it on position. I think if I had an actual football on the football field, I feel like I could nail it.
I'd be betting on you for sure. So, Tiger fans, we're challenging you to take a video of yourself, flick a paper football through the uprights, and share it on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag Good Hands Challenge. Let's see what you got. A good chance to help with the donations to the scholarship fund. So got players warming up down on the field. If we want to go down there, of course, warm-up's always presented to you by Wells Fargo, bringing you closer to the Clemson Tiger action than ever before. So always good to see the Tigers getting themselves ready. And this is one of the parts that we like the most about Death Valley Live. You can't be here in person. We can take you inside the stadium. You saw BT Potter, and now you'll see Mr. Spires as well getting ready. Special teams has been real good for the Tigers most of the season. We did have the issues with the block kicks there a little bit, but I like our chances with these two guys going forward.
Absolutely. If you are just tuning in, this is Death Valley Live with Daja Davidson and Mark Childress. We're thrilled to be your host for what should be an incredible day of college football here in Death Valley. Again, we're taking you right now to warm-ups live, brought to you by Wells Fargo.
See Williams out there on the field. The Tiger offense is going to be interesting to see. You know, Trevor Lawrence has come after a really long layoff, and he might have some new targets to look at today. You've got Joseph Ngata, had some abdominal surgery this week. He'll be missing the ball game today, maybe missing the rest of the season in its entirety. Frank Ladson Jr. has still been having some issues on the injury side. He is available to play today. Don't know if we'll see him or not, Daja. You see Trevor Lawrence right there getting himself ready. You know, he just wants to throw the football. He just wants to take a snap on a football field in a real game and throw the football after his extended layoff.
Yeah, and I think so many fans are going to have their eyes on him, not because we're not aware of his capabilities, but more so of just seeing him get back out there, especially facing the kind of adversity that he has with being diagnosed with COVID-19, having to sit out several weeks, having the whole situation last week with Tallahassee and Florida State, and not playing. And then now here in the final home game of the season, and getting back out there, you know, after a long time out. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see that maturity that we've seen him display over the last several years be highlighted today with the kind of adversity that he's faced. Yeah,
that's a really good way to put it. Trevor Lawrence, 31-1 as a starter, attempting to tie the school record for wins as a starting quarterback. Rodney Williams, Taj Boyd, Deshaun Watson all have 32 each. Trevor Lawrence hopes he has 32 to tie them up at the end of the day today. Amari Rogers, he's going to participate in the Senior Day festivities today. He did announce earlier this week that his plans are to move on from Clemson after this season. Even though, remember, with the eligibility rules this year, anybody who plays this year, you don't lose any eligibility. You can come back next year. But Amari, I think, has decided that he wants to go on, take his chances with the NFL draft. And I'm sure after the way he's been playing this year that he's going to be happy with how it turns out.
Yeah, you know, and that's what I was going to say is this season has been really great for him. I feel like his stock has increased so much because he's had to be really versatile on this football field, right?
Yep, absolutely. You see Justin Ross, you see Frank Ladson out there, you see Joseph Ngata. Of course, Ross and Ngata not playing today. We hope to see Ladson. Justin Ross has been selected, Daja. He'll be running down the hill with the American flag today. His mother had previously served in the military, and what an honor for him. And it's great for two reasons. One, it's a really cool thing and a great honor to have since he has a military family. But also, he's healthy enough coming back from his spinal surgery that he had. We're still hoping to see him on the football field in the future, but he's healthy enough to run down the field, onto the field with that flag today. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, I've got chills on my arms. I'm sure you can see them now just because I think, you know, we understand just how important military appreciation is to Clemson University based off their history as a military college. But then, you know, with what we've established over the last several years with what we do on Military Appreciation Day, with the flyovers, with, you know, bringing veterans and honoring them. And then you've got someone like Justin Ross who has been selected to stand on the top of the hill with that American flag and having that kind of tie with his mother and her service to our country. It just means so much different, you know. It's it's so much more, and it's really incredible to watch. And you know, I think about my time as a cheerleader and being down on the field. This is probably one of my favorite days and games, Military Appreciation. I think about my great-grandfathers and my grandfather who served and my uncle who served. And you know, I think for so many people, fans, it's not just about, you know, being able to watch this game. It's about the celebration that we get to have because of the men and women who fight for our country and afford us these freedoms, like being able to watch college football.
That's really well said, Daja. I'm excited about it as well. We'll have the 21 gun salute at halftime. They're doing things a little bit differently. I think a lot of the Military Appreciation Day activities will be happening outside of the stadium, but there'll still be video inside. And most importantly, if you're watching Death Valley Live, that probably means that you couldn't make it inside the stadium today. If you're not going to be here in Memorial Stadium in Clemson, come back and join us at halftime. We will have the Military Appreciation Day festivities at half right where you're watching right now. So we'll be back at half with all of that. I think that's really cool, Daja. And I know a lot of folks have been asking this week, hey, how can we participate? You can participate by coming back and hanging out with us at halftime on Death Valley Live.
Yeah, if COVID-19 hasn't given us anything else, it's afforded us this incredible opportunity to have our fans who could not be here with us all season long, whether that's one game or, all home games, whatever the case may be, a chance to have an inside look like the live warm-ups that we're showing you now.
There's DJ Uiagalelei, who had a couple of great starts, backing up Trevor Lawrence when he was out. I mean, DJ did everything that was asked and more. He found a way to win the Boston College game. Hey, we found out this past week, Daja, that DJ hadn't even practiced the week of the Boston College game because he was so banged up with his shoulder, which shows what he did and what he accomplished, making it even more amazing. He was also limited in his ability to run against Notre Dame. So we've seen the DJ Uiagalelei experience, but not the full experience yet because we haven't seen how he can run the football. And he reminds me a lot of a Taj Boyd or a Cam Newton in body size. And once we get him 100% healthy, and that may be next season, to be honest, he's going to have that element of his game that we really haven't had a chance to see that much yet.
That's so true. We talk about how incredibly he performed in the games where he had to step up and be the number one guy. And as you mentioned, that's not at 100%. So to be as impressed as we have been with his performance, we have not seen the best of this kid, and it's going to be really exciting to see. Another kid we probably haven't seen the full, whammy of is Travis Etienne. I just don't think that we've seen all that he has to give and offer, and I hope that he will get loose today. I know that we expect to throw the ball a lot in today's game, but I'm hoping that maybe he will just break loose on one and just get that train absolutely rolling.
Yeah, I think we will see a lot of Etienne today. We may see him a lot in the passing game, and he only needs 13 receiving yards to break the Clemson record for receiving yards by a running back in a single season. C.J. Spiller presently holds that record with 503 receiving yards. Also, if he gets 6 more points, he'll be the 14th player and 6th non-kicker in FBS history to reach 450 career points. Only other person in the ACC to do it is Florida State kicker Dustin Hopkins, who's got 466 total points. So Travis Etienne, already the all-time leading rusher in the ACC, has an excellent chance of becoming the all-time leading scorer in the ACC very soon as well. Mark Childress, Daja Davidson here hanging out with you. Thank you for joining us on Death Valley Live as we're getting you closer to kickoff between the Clemson Tigers, ranked number 3 in the college football playoff rankings that came out this past week, and the Pitt Panthers. And let's take a look at the matchups. If you want to take a look, we're going to look at Pitt first. They've been averaging 29.78 points a game, 986 rushing yards, 2,400 passing yards, and a lot of those have come in recent weeks, Daja, as Kenny Pickett for the Pitt Panthers has really kind of come into his own. He's had a banged-up ankle all year that's still heavily taped, but he's been throwing the football all over the lot, and I think that's what Pitt wants to do today. And, of course, the Panthers 5-4 on the season. Our Clemson Tigers, 45.4 points per game, 1,200 rushing yards, which I think is lower than people would have expected at this point in the season, but passing yards over 2,800 so far. So Clemson's putting up big numbers on the offensive side. That has not been the issue at any point this season. Clemson hopes to get that train running again today. I'd take 45.4 points or more today from the Tigers. That means it's been a very good day.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. Along with that, we do want to remind you, part of the reason we have this show is, of course, with everything with COVID-19. And so with that, we want to remind you to mask up. Prisma Health says whether you're inside Death Valley or watching the game in a public area, remember to wear your mask. Be smart and stand or sit apart.
We did a good job of that today. So we've been doing that all season long so far. We're going to take a peek at Dabo down here. I'm sure, man, if there's one person, as fans, I miss seeing Clemson play football, but is there anybody that's probably more excited in the country right now that Clemson's playing football today than Coach Swinney?
Probably not. He was lit up in the media all last week. He was live and charged up, and so I think the same can be said for today's game. You see the two head coaches here having a little chat, and I just honestly want to know, what do they talk about in that moment? It's like, we're going to take you down. Like, what are they saying?
I bet they're smack talking sometimes. Pat Narduzzi's a trip. I've had a chance to interview him a few times. He's the Pitt Panther head coach, and he's a great coach, really has his team believing in what they're doing. And Coach Narduzzi's come down here and pulled off a victory before. It's the last time Clemson lost a home game was 4 years ago against the Pitt Panthers on a senior night, a senior day at that point, on a 3:30 kick, on ABC. So there's a lot of parallels to what happened 4 years ago. And Pat Narduzzi is the guy who probably thinks he can pull it off today. Braden Galloway, we have not seen him as much in the passing game in recent weeks, and I'm wondering now with Trevor Lawrence coming back, Daja, will we see Braden featured a little bit on the offensive side? Still doing a great job blocking, doing a lot of the things that a tight end does that you really don't see on a stat sheet quite as much, but everybody wants to see Braden Galloway down the middle catching that football. Hopefully we'll see that more today.
Yeah, as do I. He's, great size and body, big target. I'd love to see us hit him up a lot today and utilize him a lot more within the gameplay. And like you said, hopefully we will see that today, especially with having Trevor Lawrence back. I think they have a nice little chemistry there. Yes. There seems to be, just something between the two of them, kind of that little I give you an eye, you give me an eye kind of thing. And hopefully we'll get to see some of that working today.
See Davis Allen as well, and he's been catching touchdowns. I mean, he's not catching the ball very much, but when he does, it seems like he's wide open from 20 to 40 yards out and dancing into the end zone for a score. So Davis Allen hoping to come away with another TD today. And again, I'd love to see Allen and Galloway targeted a number of times, especially early in this ball game, Daja.
Absolutely. And as we're watching the warm-ups here, I just have to mention that I love the purple on purple. The all-purple for Military Appreciation Day is one of my favorite uniform combinations. It makes it really special that they pull it out for this, and I just really love how it looks out there on the field. The guys look super sharp in their all purple today.
I love it as well. Would you ever support a purple helmet? I know that's never going to happen, but it's orange. The look that you just gave me must mean no. I would absolutely not support a purple helmet.
I mean, maybe for this one game.
Yeah.
It would have to be just for this. There's one of our senior leaders there, Darian Rencher. He's one of the guys that I've got to know over the last couple years. He and my CJ are good friends and worked out together, and it's really cool to see a story like his, a walk-on, and just what he's meant to this team from a leadership standpoint. That's the kind of thing that you like to see from guys like Darian.
And Rencher announced on social media a couple of weeks back that he had tested positive for COVID. Obviously, he's recovered from that, and he's back out there. And he's also kind of teased this past week that even though he's a senior,
he
may be making another appearance next season here in the stadium. So I do not see him on the list of people that will be running down the hill today. And again, there will be a lot of folks running down the hill today. It does not necessarily mean that they're gone.
Right.
And we have had Christian Wilkins was recognized on Senior Day a few years back, and he ended up coming back. So just because you see them run down the hill today does not necessarily mean that they are not coming back next year. And if they don't run down the hill, it also doesn't guarantee they are coming back. So there's just so much up in the air with the extra eligibility this year. You can leave after your junior year, senior year, all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to celebrate them today and worry about who's coming back and who's not coming back later.
Absolutely. Well, fans, let's play some trivia brought to you by First Citizens. Mark, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I haven't done well on these this season, so I need one here.
How many games has the 2020, you do know this one, senior class won against Power 5 opponents?
Well, I know they've won 48 games in all, but against Power 5 opponents, so that would be 4 years minus 2. I'm going to go with 40.
You are dead on it. The senior class has won a total of 40 games against Power 5 opponents, which is the most of any class in the country.
That doesn't surprise me.
The country.
Yeah, they're putting up some amazing statistics this year. Clemson senior class 26-0 in Death Valley. They'll be the only senior class in the history of Clemson since they put Memorial Stadium up right here back in the 40s that has gone undefeated at home. So there's a lot riding on the ball game today. You see the defensive line getting ready, and hopefully the defensive line is gotten healthy. Again, Tyler Davis is available to play today. We hope we're going to see him. Miles Murphy and Brian Brissy. Man, where would we be without those two freshmen this year? True freshmen coming in and the impact that they've had. So I'm expecting a lot from the defensive line this week, because that's been something that Clemson's been struggling with. Against Boston College, you saw it, against Notre Dame, and a lot of it's just not enough healthy bodies. If they're healthy this week, I expect to see some improvement.
Yeah, I think I listened, a couple weeks ago to Kelly and Scott, and they, had folks calling in, and they're like, they don't get tired. Okay, they do get tired, and the rotation is important, and I think it has limited us in our ability to be able to sustain for 4 full quarters, not having the number of bodies that we need to be able to have a really nice rotation of guys in and out.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Let's take a look at the starting lineups today. We'll start on the offensive side, and you do see Matt Bockhorst in there. Remember, he got banged up against Notre Dame, missed the end of that ball game. He is back in the starting lineup today. If you look at the wide receiver position, you've got Amari Rogers. You're used to seeing him. Of course, you got Trevor and Travis, but E.J. Williams getting the start today. We had talked about how Joseph Ngata is out. Frank Ladson is banged up, so E.J. Williams, the freshman, getting the start today. And Cornell Powell. Has anybody stood out more? Maybe DJ Uiagalelei, but has anybody stood out more, Daja, than Cornell Powell the last couple of weeks?
No.
He has stepped it up big time.
No question, and that's exactly what you need. We talk about the depth chart and why it's so important. It's because, especially in scenarios like this one, this really odd 2020 year that we've had, we need players deeper into the depth chart to be able to be ready to go and step up to the plate. And I don't know that there's been one that's done it better, like you said, other than DJ Uiagalelei, than Cornell Powell.
No doubt. If you look on the defensive side of the ball, right now, you're just going to look down the list of names, Daja. You're doing it right now, and there's a smile on your face.
I know.
Because we see Tyler Davis in the starting lineup.
Yes, we do.
We see Mike Jones Jr. in the starting lineup. We see Jamie Skowski in the starting lineup, which is fantastic news to get those 3 guys back. But then you look into the secondary, and again, I told you earlier, there's no Sheridan Jones or Landon Zanders today, so we've got Booth back there as one of the defensive backs. Mario Goodrich is one of the defensive backs. Joseph Charleston at strong safety, and Nolan Turner at free safety. So we've kind of fixed our issues up front from a perspective of injury, but now in the back part of the defensive secondary, we've got some issues again. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, let's take a look now, a live look at who's out on the field. The guys are getting ready. They're linking their arms up for the Walk of Champions, presented to you by Wells Fargo. There they are. The Walk of Champions. Man, what a special and really cool tradition this has come to be. And again, I just love seeing it in the all-purple.
Yeah, I love it as well. I know you've talked about C.J. Davidson, your husband, and how much he loved the Walk of Champions. And I think you said he got to stand next to Dabo. Did he get to stand next to Dabo every year, or just his senior year? Does that add more pressure, or do you enjoy it even more if you're right there with Dabo?
That I don't know. I just know that there was a season, one of the ones that he played, where his specific assigned seat, as I like to call it, was right next to Coach Swinney. And that's just really cool that this entire team. I feel like that shows the solidarity that they have, the family. We talk about the Clemson family. I feel like that moment, the Walk of Champions, is so representative of the brotherhood, really. We talk about, a lot of these guys aren't a part of a fraternity like you have the opportunity to be a part of on campus, because they have their own. This is a really special and unique fraternity, if you will. It's a really special brotherhood that no one understands, mat drills and summer practice or, waking up at 5 a.m. like those guys, and they have something that they will share that many other people won't understand unless you've been a part of it. Yeah,
that's really well said. And speaking of championships, Clemson attempting to become the 3rd senior class in conference history to play in 4 consecutive ACC championship games. And if they can win in Charlotte, they'd become the 3rd class in conference history to win 4 ACC titles outright, joining Clemson's 2019 and 2018 classes. It's just unbelievable that the run's going on. So when you say Walk of Champions, these guys
literally
are absolute champions in every sense of the word.
History makers. I mean, it's really cool to see this all happening.
No doubt. All right, fans, meet Tony the Tiger. So far, Tony has helped over 400,000 kids gain better access to sports through new courts, new fields, new equipment, and more. Now they are doubling their commitment, setting an ambitious goal to help 1 million kids gain better access to sports by the end of 2021. So Tiger fans, next time you buy Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and that should be soon, upload your receipt to missiontiger.com to trigger a $2 donation. So again, go buy Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, upload your receipt to missiontiger.com, trigger a $2 donation for them to try to help 1 million kids get better access to sports by the end of 2021. And I love the fact it's $2. I'm thinking $2 bill, $2 donation. I love that. So thank you for all that you're doing, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Very cool, very cool. I think, we forget sometimes, being a part of such a really big university, how many kids don't have access to sports. We think about the immediate community around Clemson and the incredible opportunity for access that they have here, and that's really cool of Kellogg's to be pushing that throughout the country, and for Clemson fans and Tiger fans to have an opportunity to help in that initiative.
Absolutely. You see number 9 there. He has said that he will not be returning next season. This will be his final home game as a Clemson Tiger because he's headed off to the NFL, and I've seen some NFL mock drafts that have him as high as the first round and as low as the bottom part of the second round. But I bet once he gets to the combine and shows out, he'll be looking more like a first-round draft pick. And speaking of the NFL, there's so many Tigers in the NFL on Sundays, and now they're playing football. With all the games getting moved around for COVID, I feel like there's an NFL game on almost every day, which means as a Clemson fan, you can see your Tigers in the NFL almost every day. Here's a couple of standout performances from this last week. I love to see this first one. Isaiah Simmons, 10 tackles, 9 solos, and 1 sack. He's really starting to get a feel for that Cardinals defense, and he's playing a lot. A.J. Terrell, 6 tackles, 5 solos, and 1 sack. Mike Williams, 4 receptions, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Trayvon Mullen, 6 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and an interception, and that was an interception against Patrick Mahomes. One of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. So it's really cool to see Trayvon Mullen get it this past week. And then on Thanksgiving, I'm sure you turned the TV on. Every time I walked into the room with the Texans game on Thanksgiving, Deshaun Watson was throwing a touchdown. He had 4 in all and 318 yards. So a big standout performance from Deshaun on the big stage on Thursday. I love that as well.
Yeah, really cool to see the Tigers play not only on Saturday but on Sundays as well. And as you just pointed out, a lot of them have been showing out a lot here recently. And like you mentioned, I do love seeing Isaiah Simmons finally find his way. I feel like we know he's such an incredibly talented athlete, and we're finally starting to see that being produced on the football field.
Yeah, those are the kind of stats I thought we'd see from him this year a little bit earlier, but now that he's getting back in the mix. And Deshaun is very quietly really having the best year statistically of his career. In the last 6 games, he's got 16 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. And suddenly the Texans are, I think, 4-7 now. They've been winning some games. They had their coach turnover earlier this year when they fired Bill O'Brien. You've never heard Deshaun Watson complain one time. He just goes out there and treats every game like it's the Super Bowl. The numbers are showing that, and you're starting to see them build a little bit of momentum going into the later part of the season. Yeah,
it's really exciting to watch that success continue from watching them play in Death Valley and across the country for the Clemson Tigers, but now, as you mentioned, in the NFL as well. So really cool for us to be able to keep up with that every time we're on the show.
Yeah, it is. It's Senior Day today. It's Military Appreciation Day. I'm appreciative of the fact that for the first time in what feels like 2 months, Clemson will be playing a football game today, especially with all that weirdness against Florida State this past week. And then you've got Trevor Lawrence on the extended delay with COVID and all of that. So there's just so many storylines to the game today. All of that, Daja, you add in the fact that the last home loss Clemson had was against this Pitt Panthers team and everything going on with that. There's all kinds of weirdness going on now with the college football playoffs. Clemson came out number 3 in the rankings, which we love to see. Ohio State had a game canceled for COVID this week, so what's that going to mean for them? Oregon got beat by Oregon State last night in a football game, so is the Pac-12 going to make the playoffs? There's a million different storylines you can just attach to this game today, but I know the players are just focused on going out there, like you said, hitting somebody that they haven't been hitting in practice and hopefully getting a win today.
Yeah, for me, it's just so strange to not be playing South Carolina. I mean,
we haven't even mentioned that.
That's a good point. On top of all of the other things, that is just so strange for me that will not be a part of the storyline of this season, is not having this, state championship against the University of South Carolina. It's just weird to me.
Well, it's very weird, and that game would be playing right now. This week, and I think if you're a South Carolina fan and you're tuning in, first of all, welcome. Not sure why you're hanging out with us on the Clemson pregame.
They probably are breathing a bit of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, they are. I would think that this is not the year, especially with your coaching turnover and the struggles that have been going on. I think this would have been a win for Clemson to extend that winning streak against the Gamecocks, and there's a lot of Clemson fans I know that are super disappointed just one of the many things that are weird about 2020, because you'll go back in the record books. What did Clemson play, like 111 straight years or something in some of these rivalries that they've had that are being canceled and stuff like that? It's just you're seeing a lot of the history of the game going away, and you're just trying to find a way to navigate your way through. And especially with all the games we've been losing for COVID, just really strange. But that's right. I think that probably needs to go higher on the list than I think about it when I put it there. No South Carolina game. We found out so long ago.
Yeah.
I guess I've kind of moved on from it, but I shouldn't have.
You know, we talk about how this year will not count against the guys' eligibility. I just wonder if this entire year cannot count against the, like, traditions, right? Of, you know, we've played for this many years in a row or whatever. Let's just, you know, omit 2020 from that.
That would be good. If you could move some things around and figure all that out, that would be a good thing. All right, fans, each week we bring you behind-the-scenes look at what it looks like to be part of the Clemson football team. Check out this video of player reactions.
Coach Swinney with the pink suit. He loves wearing this every single year. He always makes a big deal out of it.
I like the pink jacket, you know, breast cancer awareness with the pink tie. Like it.
He always wears the breast cancer awareness suit when it's around this time, so we always like the pink jacket, which is really nice, but we always joke around with the big pants that he be wearing.
He definitely should have his pants a lot tighter at the bottom. I think he should show a little bit of his ankles. I think he'd be really cool. But I mean, he has a classic fit. I mean, it's a great suit, all the suits he has, so it's not too bad.
It could be a little slimmer. It's a little loose on him, but I don't think he's hip on that yet. He's still in the past with the swagger in the 90s and stuff like that. So we try to tell him, you know, everything now is kind of tighter, but I don't think he's got the gist yet. But he's gonna get there.
I think DJ got the best suit as of right now. Just the way it's designed, I would say. I like the design he got going on.
DJ, oh yeah, what the chain say? Big Cinco, I like that. Yes, sir. He already know the vibes, you know. He dripped out, and he probably got the Converses on with it. He always got the Converses on. My boy stayed dripped out. I like it. Got the vest on and everything.
I definitely have the best suit here in Clemson. I think it's 100%. I got it from my people in LA with the big Cinco chain. I mean, you don't see a lot of people wearing a vest too, with the velvet black vest underneath, with the plaid, and then the double-breasted. I mean, I don't think anybody else on the team has a double-breasted jacket. I mean, I don't think anyone else has that.
I think last but not least, we got KJ here. We got a little flower print suit, you know, pretty good look here. This is one I haven't seen, pretty unique. You know, KJ's got kind of his own style about him.
Old man, that's the old man right here. That's one thing I say about KJ, he does not know how to dress.
Should I have gone pink suit this week?
Probably.
Like Dabo?
I mean, you failed.
Nice.
You failed.
All right, I could have gone
all of us,
purple suit
actually.
this week. We did see Don Munson earlier today, and he had a really nice purple blazer
did.
on, so he's showing out. I'll try to up my game for Season 2 of Death Valley Live, because it's just been a parade of different Clemson golf shirts.
Absolutely.
So I've got to up my game.
Well, fans, at this time, the senior Clemson football support staff and senior spirit squads are being recognized in Memorial Stadium. Let's take a look.
There's going to be a ton of great senior day festivities today, and we think about the players running down the hill, but you talk about the support staff and the senior spirit squad. Daja, I guess you were recognized as part of that as a senior in Death Valley for your last game here. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, you know, super emotional. It's just, you know, you put so much into this, and so much of your life is consumed with practice and workouts and, you know, for us, uniforms and all these things, and it kind of all comes to an end. And, you know, there is an opportunity to cheer or dance, if you will, on the next level professionally, but really it's kind of like over with. You know, it's pretty much over with. So that it's a close of a really long chapter of, you know, having cheer and competitive cheer, because Clemson actually competes competitively on the national level, and so it's kind of like an end of an era in your life of, you know, something you've done for so long. And I imagine it's similar to what the players go through with playing football from like Pop Warner, you know, all the way through to this level and potentially on the next. And, you know, regardless, it's the close of a chapter one way or the other, whether it's just the close of college football and you're on to the NFL, or this is, you know, pretty much it, and this will be the last time that you play football in this sort of competitive capacity. So it's definitely emotional because, one way or the other, it does seem like you're closing, one chapter and beginning another, whatever that may look like.
Now, was your family on the field like they do with the players when you ran down? Was your family on the field?
So they didn't bring them on the field. They do a lot of pregame situation with the families, and then they're like on the 50-yard line, and you can kind of go up to them after, that sort of thing. But they don't come down on the field like the players. We're not quite cool enough for that yet.
Okay, well, we'll work towards that at some point. And there's no families on the field at all today pregame, so it will be a little bit different than you've seen in the past. And I heard that they were going to get to come out after and take pictures and everything after the game, which I think is really neat as we start to see everyone, the Clemson football support staff and the senior spirit squad being recognized, and they'll be recognized here for a while, is a very special part of Senior Day festivities.
Yeah, and I mean, regardless, you're just so appreciative that the university even takes the time to recognize you. These guys and girls play such an integral part in what happens behind the scenes, especially the support staff here who are, wrapping ankles and they're getting ice and Gatorade and all of these sorts of things, and, making sure things are put in lockers when they're supposed to be, whatever the case may be. And then, of course, the cheerleaders and rally cats and folks like that on the spirit squads who are helping keep that spirit throughout the stadium. And I think even more so this year where we don't have full capacity in the stadium, you're relying on those individuals to keep that spirit and that atmosphere alive within the stadium. So we just appreciate that the university even acknowledges these folks and all that they do for the football program and all sports really with the spirit squad.
And obviously the football support staff and everything that goes into the amount of logistics, the amount of men and women hours that go into just a game in Memorial Stadium on a Saturday. And that's before all the additional COVID protocols that have gone into place this year that seem like everything is constantly changing week to week. It's absolutely an amazing job that's been done, not only inside the stadium with the crew that's helped us put on the Death Valley Live show, all of that stuff. Just thank you all for everything that you've done. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm looking at our folks back here, like giving a little props. You guys, they don't see you, but we see you, and we appreciate what you guys do. And this has been an incredibly different year, and adding this show, Death Valley, to the lineup of things that are happening on game day is, just one of a million. And we do appreciate all of the folks who are who make this happen for all of you at home.
You see the senior rally cats being introduced right now.
Blair Harris, Maddie Lee, Chloe Southmaid, and Allie Winston.
So do you have a routine? Do you practice the routine, I guess, as a cheerleader when they announce your name in the stadium? Do you do a certain thing with your pom-poms? Okay,
no.
I didn't know.
There's nothing like that. But I will say there is something special, particularly for me because I'm a huge Dale Gilbert fan, for having Dale announce your name in the stadium. It just feels like you finally made it. I just want to look in a camera and be like, Mama, I made it because Dale said my name. I feel like I think sports families for sure, you're like, do we name our kid this because does it sound nice being announced in a sports setting?
Exactly.
And doing it in the Dale Gilbert voice is what certifies if you've got a good name or not.
That's awesome. There's Chief Daniel, the former fire chief here at Clemson.
Yeah, he's being recognized. Right now, he is retiring after 39 years of service.
We want to say a special thank you to one of our own first responders. Clemson University Fire Department Chief Bill Daniel is retiring after 39 years of service. How about a big round of applause for Chief Daniel?
Man, awesome to see 39 years of service.
Yeah.
And here's an IPTAY fundraiser idea. You guys steal it if you want. Dale Gilbert in the stadium. You come into the stadium and Dale Gilbert announces your name. I would give a donation to IPTAY for that.
And you could run down the hill while he says, or right after he says, your name. Honestly, I think people would pay for that.
That would be a very interesting thing to do. All right, time for keys to the game. Daja, you want me to let you start on keys to the game? What's your first key to the ball game this afternoon?
Yeah, one of my keys is just going to be controlling the emotions. I think we think about that a lot more, but there's so much that has gone into this, considering that they've not played in a really long time. It's Military Appreciation Day. It's Senior Day. I want these guys to control their emotions and be laser focused on the task at hand.
I think my first one is very similar to yours as well. I think a quick start is important for Clemson. You look back at the game against Boston College where BC got the ball, went right down and scored at the beginning of the game, scored right again the second time. You look at the Notre Dame game where, second rushing play of the game, he takes it to the house. So Clemson kind of got put back on their heels in each of the last 2 games. I think coming out and having a quick start, putting some points up early, and putting Pitt behind the 8 ball would be a great way to get going. You don't want to be here we go again. Are we going to struggle again this week kind of thing? So I think a quick start is super important.
Yeah, another one for me is going to be to minimize mistakes. I think we talked about this a good bit, especially after the Notre Dame game, not giving the opposing team the opportunity to capitalize off of Clemson mistakes. That includes protecting the football and things like that. But I think if we can minimize those mistakes, we give less of an opportunity for Pitt to be able to take over the momentum of the game and, again, not get behind.
And my second one, I was going to say turnovers because I use that one almost as a crutch every single week, and you kind of just said that. Running the football, I think, is key for Clemson today. They've got to find a way to start establishing or reestablishing that identity on the ground. And it's something they struggled with all season. And a lot of that is because teams have been saying, we're going to take away the run game and make you beat us throwing the football. That's one element, but I do think that the offensive line has really been struggling in run blocking. They've been off the charts, lights out, awesome on pass blocking. But on run blocking, they haven't been great. And I know that they have been drilling it into the heads of everyone, that you've got to get out there and you've got to find a way to start running that football for more than a yard or 2 on first down and even second down. I think that's super important, and I think we'll try to see the Tigers establish that early in the ball game, and hopefully we'll see some success in that. This Pitt defensive line is one of the best in the country and is as good as Clemson's. I mean, these teams are 1-2 in a lot of defensive line categories, not just in the ACC, but nationally, especially on tackles for loss and sacks over the course of the last couple of seasons. So they got their work cut out for them if they want to run the football today. Let's take a look at scores around the ACC. This was an interesting ball game we saw on Friday. Notre Dame taking down UNC 31-17 was the final in that ball game. NC State 33, Syracuse 29 final. Wow, the Wolfpack, after beating Liberty last week, really struggles to get by a not-so-good Syracuse team so far this season. So Dino Babers can't pull the upset there. You've got Louisville and BC that'll be getting underway around 4 p.m. You've got Duke and Georgia Tech at 7, and then Virginia and Florida State. If you have not heard, Virginia flew all the way down to Tallahassee. See if this sounds familiar. Virginia flew all the way down to Tallahassee, and this morning they decided that they weren't going to have a football game. Now, in Florida State's
deja vu.
It is, but in Florida State's defense, they said they only had 44 eligible players. Evidently, COVID was running rampant through the program, and Virginia did delay coming down until Friday, and Florida State had made Virginia aware that, hey, we might have to cancel, guys. If you want to come down, do it, but we might have to send you around, turn you around, and go home, which is what they had to do. So I'm defending Florida State a little bit here. Not sure why, especially after last week, but that's 2 straight weeks of no play for Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we want all of these teams to be safe, but I think, it is frustrating from a Clemson point of view. I can't speak for Virginia, obviously, but it's frustrating having to take an entire football team down to Tallahassee. That's not just up the street, you know what I mean? And then having to turn around and bring these guys back home. And, that's why we're in the situation where we haven't had guys play in a really long time. But hopefully all of that will be put in the past, and we'll just toss it over our shoulder and be like, that's a thing in the past, and move right along to rolling over the Pitt Panthers today.
It was funny. I can't remember who it was on the defensive side of the ball, but he said that they were on the buses. I think they came back and decided they would all eat breakfast. And while they were eating breakfast, Brent Venables had them watching video on Pitt. Yeah. They were already, they're just like, hey, you know what? Happens. Not playing this week, guys. We're turning the corner. We got extra time to prepare for the Pitt Panthers. Let's absolutely do that. All right, hey, let's go ahead and throw it over. Every week, Tim Beret gets to sit down and have a conversation with Dabo Swinney, presented by Prisma Health. Let's check that out now.
Welcome to our pregame visit with head coach Dabo Swinney. And coach, 2 very special days. It's Military Appreciation Day and Senior Day. So let's talk a little bit about this senior class. It's kind of an unusual day for them because technically with the NCAA rules, they could all come back. But still, let's take a moment to talk about what these guys have accomplished the last 4 years.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they're going with a win. They'll be undefeated at home for their career.
Which will be the first Clemson class to do that.
First Clemson class to do that, and I think the last group to do it was maybe the 2010 Boise State group or something like that. And so this has been a really, really special group for sure. And some of them have already told me they're coming back, so some of those guys won't be coming down the hill for the last time. But then there's a few others that haven't made their mind up, so we may end up doing it twice with them, just like we did with Christian Wilkins. So you never know, but I'm glad that they do have that option. But it's a special day. I mean, first of all, Memorial Stadium, military appreciation, the deep heritage here at Clemson, that's always special. But, it's the last home game for so many of these guys, and, senior day and a year that we've had, we didn't even know if we were going to play a game, and now to be in our last home game, just special to get to this point. We've played 8 games, and, that's more than most leagues are probably going to play. So going into game 9, and then, again, what these guys have been a part of, and from national championships to, 4 straight ACC title games, bunch of big games. It's a special group, and then in particular, what they've had to deal with this year in 2020. We've never had a senior class that's had to manage quite what this group has had to manage on and off the field, the world being shut down, et cetera, et cetera. But they've just pushed forward, and here they are in the fourth quarter of their careers, the fourth quarters of this season, and still control their destiny. So it's a great opportunity.
One of the hallmarks of your 2016 team, you had a walk-on who caught the winning touchdown pass who was thrown by a 5-star. This class has had a lot of guys who came in, were highly recruited, but you had some guys that maybe weren't, that were your classic developmental guys who've gone on to have terrific careers. Skalski and Nolan Turner comes to mind for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's really kind of that's the hallmark of our program, if you will, is evaluation and development. And sometimes you get a Deshaun Watson or a Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that comes in, and Brian Brzee. But the majority of our guys have developed. Cade Stewart, 5th-year senior. I think we beat Georgia Southern to get him, and what a good player he is for us. And Jackson Carman is not a senior, but it could be his last game. But was a highly recruited guy that's done really well for us. But then you look over and you say, okay, man, here's Nolan Turner that nobody really knew about, and man, this kid has been unbelievably productive for us, not just this year, for the last 2.5 years. Made a bunch of big plays, and so I'm just really proud of the whole group, and again, great contributions from all those guys.
And we talked about this in August, that leadership from this senior class, it might have been the most important quality for a senior class that you've had, just because of what they were going to be faced with the pandemic.
Yeah, they've just risen to every occasion. It doesn't matter what it is, they've risen to the occasion. Whether it been, trying to figure out how to keep the team together in the off season when the pandemic first hit and you can't be together and all those things. So the communication, the leadership that they provided their segment groups, and then getting back together and all the unknowns, all the protocols, all those things, the guys led. Certainly off the field, worldly issues, the guys led. And, just been a joy to be around. And then once we got into the season, they've made no excuses. It doesn't matter what it is. They have just pushed forward. And, to be 7-1 and a double overtime loss on the road against a really good team, they've just done nothing but respond just the way I wanted them to. And, so excited to see them play, and sad that it's going to be the last time we'll see some of these guys at home, but also excited some of them I think will come back. But at the end of the day, this is one game that's gets them one more step closer to the end goal that they all have for this season.
Well, that's it. It should be an outstanding, fun-filled game here at Death Valley this afternoon.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Death Valley Live, presented by Wells Fargo. Mark Childress here with Daja Davidson. Always good to hear from Dabo. He's focused on playing the game today. Always also good to see Tim Beret. Today is Military Appreciation Day and Senior Day here in Death Valley, which makes it very special. Throughout the game, there'll be several military spotlights, as well as a remarkable halftime showcasing the Armed Service Medley, the Soldier's Cross, the 21-gun salute, taps, and more. We'll also see the National Anthem coming up here in just a minute, followed by a flyover from the Bandit Flight Team, which is one of my favorite things that we see all season long here. The Bandit Flight Team, a nonprofit team with a mission of honoring our military men and women. So there's special stuff all day long today. And you can also come back at halftime and see all of the Military Appreciation Day festivities. So as Daja and I have been reminding you throughout the show, don't forget, come back in here at halftime. You can participate in all the Military Appreciation Day stuff, and we'll be showing you the Senior Day stuff here in just a little bit as well.
Yeah, so if you can't be here with us, it's okay, because we're going to keep you involved. You'll be able to see all of the things being highlighted down in Death Valley, including the flyover, which is one of my favorite things that happens. We've had two, I guess this will be this season, so it's really exciting, though, especially on Military Appreciation Day.
Let's throw it into the stadium for the playing of the National Anthem.
Clemson's military history, this is just a really special day, and the weather's so beautiful. It just seems like it's all so perfect for today.
Really is. You couldn't have dialed it up any better than this. It's almost December, Daja, and it feels like a September afternoon here in Clemson.
Absolutely beautiful.
All kinds of great statistics for this senior class that are just mind-boggling if you think about it. Clemson is trying to win a 28th consecutive game at home, which is already a school record. Again, the last home loss here was 2014, a 43-42 loss to this Pitt Panther team, which is absolutely, that was in 2016, excuse me. That's the only home loss they've had since 2014. In the last 4 years, Clemson senior class 26-0 in Death Valley. They're trying to be the only Clemson class ever to go undefeated in Memorial Stadium, which is also incredible. And trying to be the first team in FBS since the 2010 Boise State and 2010 Oklahoma teams to have an undefeated senior class at home.
Career wins at Memorial Stadium, and they can become the first Clemson class ever to go undefeated in Death Valley since the facility opened in 1942. A sports communication major from Knoxville, Tennessee, number 3, Amari Rogers. A sports communication major from Jennings, Louisiana, number 9, Travis Etienne. A marketing major from Irmo, number 15, Patrick McClure. A marketing major from Cartersville, Georgia, number 16, Trevor Lawrence. A management major from Greenville, North Carolina, number 17, Cornell Powell. A financial management major from Vestavia Hills, Alabama, number 24, Nolan Turner. An agribusiness major from Argyle, Texas, number 25, J.C. Chalk. A business management major from Myrtle Beach, number 31, Cole Renfro. A financial management major from Richmond, Virginia, number 32, Sylvester Mayers. A communication major from Pickens, number 38, Elijah Turner. A corporate finance major from Birmingham, Alabama, number 40, Paul Martin. A sociology major from Beaufort, number 44, Niles Pinckney. An elementary education major from Greenville, number 45, Josh Jackson. A financial management major from 6 Mile, number 47, Peter Cody. A communication major from Sharpsburg, Georgia, number 47, James Stouty. A construction science and management major from Cameron, number 48, Will Spires. An anthropology major from Greenville, number 52, Tyler Brown. A communication major from Virginia Beach, number 59, Jordan Williams. And a construction science and management major from 6 Mile, number 62, Kane Stewart.
Awesome Senior Day festivities. Talk about pregame traditions, running down the hill, all of those things. Tiger fans, it's almost game time. We're going to send it right back into Death Valley for our entrance video.
If you are lucky enough to ever witness this, you will not forget it. Perhaps the grandest entrance in sports.
You've earned the right to wear the jersey. You've earned the right to put the helmet on, adorned by the paw. This is the culmination of preparation. And the only way you get to touch that rock is you have to earn it.
And this is their destination. This rock that was brought from Death Valley, California, placed atop that hill by Coach Frank.
To get off the bus, enter Death Valley, and approach this rock, it's emotional. The intensity of the moment is very real.
Each player touches Howard's rock for good luck.
Touched by the Tigers for exactly 50 years. The Tigers are at the rock. About the most exciting 25 seconds in college football. Most exciting 25 seconds in college football.
It's not going to give 110% to keep their filthy hands off my rock.
The players have already boarded the buses. We are taking a look right now thanks to our Coca-Cola bus cams. They are heading around to the rock to get ready to run down. For several of these players, as we just heard, was their last time running down, and the rest of the guys will meet them up here on the hill to run down on Military Appreciation Day.
Great stuff, man. What a fantastic pregame that's been put together by the Clemson Athletic Department. They outdo themselves every year, and I can't wait to see what's coming up at halftime. Remember, at halftime, all the Military Appreciation Day stuff, Armed Service Medley, Soldiers Cross, 21 Gun Salute, taps, everything else. Come back here at Death Valley Live at halftime.
Absolutely. Make sure you share this. Let all of your friends and family know, those who cannot be in Death Valley to watch today's game. Share this broadcast, shoot it out, tweet us, whatever, all of those things. Share the news about Death Valley Live and how Clemson Tiger fans all over the country have the opportunity to come back and join us us at halftime to see what's happening, to hear about the first half of today's football game.
They're out there at the Rock getting ready to run down the hill. Tiger fans on their feet. This is the day you miss the full capacity of the stadium, but I tell you, even with the limited capacity due to the COVID restrictions, been making a lot of noise this year. I've been very impressed with the home crowd. I think everybody's been stepping up their cheering decibel level.
Oh yeah, you can hear them here from the Swan Pavilion at Little John Coliseum. We can hear them over here as the guys are at the top of the hill. You've got that American flag waving as they get ready to run down for the 25 most exciting seconds in college football.
And it is Justin Ross with the American flag. His mother has some military service, so he comes from a military family, and he'll get a chance to run down the hill with the American flag today, lead the Tigers into the stadium.
And there's the cannon as we get ready for what will be an exciting day of football against the Pitt Panthers.
Clemson ranked number 3 in the country. They look like they're ready to play some football right here. They are excited to get going after the long 21-day break. Get back out on the football field, see if they can add their 8th game in the win column to move to 8-1 on this season and continue to head hopefully towards the ACC championship game and beyond. Dabo, of course, sprinting down. I'm always worried Dabo's going to stumble one year. A nice shot of the plane going over as well. What a flyover today. That was fantastic stuff getting ready for the ball game.
More of that to come at halftime, so make sure you tune back in with us, Death Valley Live at halftime, to see all of the festivities for Military Appreciation Day again at halftime.
Again, we talked about our keys to the game. Looking for a quick start from the Tigers. Can Clemson put up the first points in this ball game? I think it's very important to get moving, get Pitt behind the 8 ball. Kenny Pickett for the Panthers going to be throwing that football a lot. I get the feeling Trevor Lawrence is going to be throwing the football a lot as well. Should be a ton of points today. So again, it's been a fun pregame for Daja Davidson. I'm Mark Childress. Take your television right now. Turn it over to ABC to watch the game, or take your radio or your favorite app to listen to the radio on and listen to the Clemson Tigers Network call of the ball game. We will see you at halftime, where we will have all of the Military Appreciation Day festivities. We'll see you at half.